What's going on, guys? I'm the Backseat GM, and today we're taking a look at my top 5 free agency signings so far in the 2025 NFL offseason. Now, these are 5 guys that I thought, 1, will bring good production to the team they got signed to, 2, were extremely good value based on where everybody else is getting signed for, and 3, fit the team's timeline. So, for example, someone like Kevin Zeitler to the Titans, 1 year, $9 million. He did not make the list. Now, I think Kevin Zeitler is great value for $9 million. He's one of the better guards in the league, a Pro Bowl level guard, even in his mid-30s. But a 1-year deal to the Titans when the Titans aren't championship level contenders, I just don't understand the time fit there. So for that reason, he wasn't in it, and that'll kind of give you a gist of the 5 guys who will be on this list. And without further ado, not going to waste any more time, I do ask that you like and subscribe for more NFL and NFL draft content, and eventually, hopefully, some NBA draft content as well. And yeah, let's get straight into it at number 5. And at number 5, we have the New York Giants signing safety Jevon Holland from the Dolphins for 3 years, $45 million contract, $15 million on average per year. I love this for the Giants. Now, Jevon Holland did have a weaker 2023 season, there is no doubt. 2024 season. If he was as good as his 2023 season, he would have been getting over $20 million per season. So, realistically, if Jevon Holland can go back to his old form, the Giants get him for $5+ million cheaper per season. And the Dolphins as a whole played bad in 2024. Everybody on the defense was pretty bad. And Jevon Holland, when he had decent players around him, was one of the best safeties in the league. He was a huge playmaker, he showed a lot of range, and the Giants really lacked in their secondary last year. They have Tyler Nubin, who's a rookie last year, so we don't know exactly how good he's going to be, and that's pretty much it. You saw potential in Drew Phillips. They have their young former first round pick, and Deonte Banks, who was benched last year, but that's a whole question mark too, because he has shown potential. But outside of that front seven, they've needed a lot of work, and I think they did exactly what they needed to here. And I think if the Giants can pick up just one more good cornerback in the draft, some starter level guy, I think the Giants defense is actually going to be pretty good next year. And speaking of the Miami Dolphins, at number 4, we have the Dolphins signing guard James Daniels from the Pittsburgh Steelers for 3 years, $24 million, or $8 million on average per season. Now, James Daniels did have a season-ending injury in 2024, and that is probably why he is only $8 million per year. But in the 209 snaps he played, he had a 92.9 PFF grade, which was second out of all the guards in the season, and he was having his best season yet before the injury. And he's an elite run blocker, so while his pass blocking isn't great, his run blocking truly is very, very good, which is huge for Devon Achane's development, even though Devon Achane's already an amazing player. And the Dolphins didn't have much money to spend, so they could have gone for a guy like Will Fries, or even Drew Dowman or Joe Thuney, something like that. But realistically, they didn't have the money to do it, and they had to find someone cheaper. And I think James Daniels for $8 million per year is the perfect definition of value. And at number 3, we have the Philadelphia Eagles signing Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher from the Giants, for a 1 year, $4 million contract. Now, they had to replace Josh Sweat, and even though Ojulari doesn't replace Josh Sweat, because Sweat was an amazing player last year, they did not have a bunch of cap space to just spend it on another edge rusher. That's why we saw Milton Williams go to a different team as well. He got signed to the Patriots. But what they did get in Azeez Ojulari is a good pass rusher with 6 sacks on the season and less than 400 edge rushing snaps, or not edge rushing, just 400 total snaps, so run and pass rushing. And it was for $4 million, which is basically a league minimum at this point. It's very cheap, very low risk, a great rotational piece to replace Josh Sweat, who was serviceable against the run and pretty good as a pass rusher. So for $4 million, once again, you can't get much better than that. And at number 2, we have the Kansas City Chiefs signing cornerback Christian Fulton for 2 years, $15 million, average of $7.5 million per year, formerly of the Titans and of the Chargers. Now, Christian Fulton hasn't lived up to his his draft hype, which was once a projected top 15 or 20 pick, but then he fell to the second round in the draft, and he has had some injuries in the NFL. But when he's been on the field, he's been a really underrated player, and he showed some really promising potential. And last year he was only 25 years old, and he had a 71.1 PFF grade, which isn't great, isn't terrible, and it ended up being 40th out of all the cornerbacks. And I mean, on the surface, 40th does not sound very good, but when you think about the fact that there's 32 NFL teams, that essentially puts Christian Fulton as a high-end cornerback too. And the Chiefs are already known for improving their cornerbacks like Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, etc., Jalen Watson, all these guys. So I think you get a high-end cornerback too, plug him out of the Chiefs for only $7.5 million per year, and Christian Fulton could become the greatest steal of the free agency this year. And at number 1, we have the Denver Broncos signing Dre Greenlaw for 3 years, $35 million per season. Now, the Broncos are a team who had money this offseason and weren't afraid to spend it. Teams normally overspend for horrible players, or they just seem afraid to spend the money at all, but the Broncos actually did what they needed to do. It was amazing to see, and they got the guy that they need in Dre Greenlaw. I think he's my favorite addition for the Broncos this offseason, even though they've had a couple really good ones. The Broncos really needed a good linebacker. They've missed some athleticism. They have some decent guys there, but nobody super athletic, nobody who can make a difference really on that defense. And Dre Greenlaw, he did have that season, or he missed most of the 2024 season because of the Super Bowl injury that he had, which was non-contact, which is a little bit scary. But since he returned from injury, he had an 82.0 PFF grade, which was 14th highest out of all the linebackers in the league. And I think the Broncos got a huge addition to their defense. Now I think all they really need is maybe a cornerback too if Riley Moss isn't the answer there. And their defense is top 5. It might already be top 5 with the additions they've made. And Dre Greenlaw, I think that is at least an A- to A level grade. Let me know who you guys think I missed. Let me know what other free agency signings you guys loved. Of course, not every free agent has been signed at this point. We're only into the end of March. We still have a lot of players left to see where they sign. But these are my 5 favorite value picks so far this free agency. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe for more NFL draft, and NBA draft content, like I said earlier. And until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace.